And today I wanted to talk a little bit about a very, very common crypto scam called a pig butchering scam. We see this all the time, and I want to talk about some of the key identifiers, how to identify if you might be a victim of this scam, and then also get into the silver lining, which is a little bit of good news, which is the fact that it is actually tax deductible, based on your facts and circumstances. But stay tuned for that. We're going to get into it. So how does this scam work exactly, and how to identify if you might actually be a victim? So I'll just lay it out from start to finish, usually how this process goes. It can present in a few different ways, but there are a lot of the same recurring factors that I see a lot all the time. So usually it starts by a stranger befriending you online. This might be someone that you are romantically interested in, but they usually reach out of the blue. It can even be an oops, wrong number text, which means they mistakenly text you and then you somehow start talking with them. Or it can just be they message you, saying they want to meet people online, they want to be your friend, whatever. And usually this happens in a few different places, but WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Facebook, any area like that where you're getting random messages from people, be cautious. Now, they will chat with you for a while. This is actually a long-ish con. I don't want to say a long con because those can go on years, but this is actually a long-ish con that can go on for months. They might not even bring up investments or crypto for 1 to 3 months. Now, usually how the process goes is they will gain your trust. They'll show interest, potentially even romantic interest. They might flirt with you. They might even do video calls with you. So you're actually talking to a real person, and this is not uncommon. So this is a ring of scammers. This is a ginormous business that makes hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and so they have professionals that are doing this. It's basically actors that are doing this on their behalf. And so they'll befriend you, and then once they gain your trust, once they're confident that they have your trust, they will propose an investment opportunity. It might be an exchange, it might be some cloud mining or arbitrage trading, just some obscure, complex crypto idea, and they will send you a link to a platform that they want you to sign up on. So this is the first red flag. If they are sending you a link to a platform to sign up, be cautious of that. Any legitimate trading platform, like Coinbase, let's say, you should just go straight to the coinbase.com. You shouldn't go through any link that someone sends you. Just go straight to coinbase.com if you are trying to set up a Coinbase account. So once they send you this link, once they get you to sign up, they're going to ask you to deposit a small amount. They're not going to ask you for or they generally won't ask you for a bunch of money all at once. They know that they have to be careful to keep your trust. So they're going to tell you they have some investment knowledge that's secret and it's going to be very profitable, and you have to act quick. So they're going to have you start small and then deposit those funds. You will see small amounts of profit. So it might be maybe 2% to 5%. You'll see small amounts of profit coming in over the next few days or the next few weeks, and it seems like you're making money. Now, for the skeptical people, you might try to withdraw your funds, and they will actually likely allow this. They will allow you to withdraw small amounts of money to further gain your trust. They aren't after this small deposit. They are after a big, big scam, which is coming at the end. So then what happens is they've gained your trust. They've shown you can make profits, which is really just numbers on a screen. It's not real profit. And you'll be confident in this. You'll be excited. You might even bring in some of your friends as well. At this point, they will present to you, or they'll likely present to you, that they have a big investment opportunity coming up. There's some event happening. There's a big trade that needs to happen right now, and you need to act quick. It might be some cloud mining or arbitrage trading, whatever it might be. It's going to sound complex. It's going to sound probably foreign to you if you're not familiar with crypto. And honestly, if you are familiar with crypto, it might just be gibberish anyways. It's not legitimate trading. And so they'll tell you you have to invest a lot of money. So they'll convince you, invest as much as you can. Sometimes it's $20,000. Sometimes it's $200,000. I've even seen up to $3 million. So they will try to get you to invest as much as you can here. They might even pressure you to take loans. They'll do a lot of things. So they will try to get you to invest as much as you can. Then they will show you a substantial profit. we're talking 10x, 100x. They're going to show you a large amount of profit. They want you to think that you just hit the jackpot and that either A, you need to deposit more, or B, if you actually tried to withdraw your funds, like most people will, this is when the true scam occurs, and that is when they tell you, wait, you can't withdraw, your account's been frozen, we're transferring you to the tax department or some other similar department. They're going to start transferring you around to talk to a bunch of random people. At this point, the tax department is going to tell you, hey, you need to actually pay the tax up front before you can withdraw these funds, which is complete nonsense. If anyone is ever telling you you have to pay something to withdraw money, that is not true. You never have to do that. You never have to pay the IRS to withdraw funds, but B, even if you did, wouldn't they just be able to take the profit from, or take the tax from the profit and then send you the rest? So that's another clear, obvious red flag. So they'll say, okay, you just made $10 million. Now you need to pay 10% of that in order to withdraw your funds. And if you don't, you're going to lose access within 48 hours. They're going to put a time limit on it. They're going to make you feel pressured, like you have to act right now. And this is really what they're trying to do. This is the slaughter of the pig butchering scam. They are trying to make you go, take another mortgage on your house, liquidate your kids' college fund, all this terrible stuff to get as much money from you as possible. So that is called a pig butchering scam. They have you focus on the profit to keep you blinded to what's actually happening. The thing to keep in mind here is that the moment you sent the crypto to the exchange, the fake exchange, that money is lost. Everything that they're showing you is just numbers on a screen. There are no profits. There is no millions of dollars that you've made. It's all fake. And the moment you sent it to them, that money was gone. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is if you are a potential victim of this and you start looking for resources and for help, you might come across even more scammers called recovery scammers. So this is important to keep in mind as you navigate this tough situation. If anyone is telling you that they can get your money back and is promising you that they can get your money back, they can't. They can't just reach into a crypto wallet and take money, otherwise they would be doing that. So this is called a recovery scam. It's where scammers will promise that they can recover your money from other scammers, and then in return they'll say, hey, we got all your money back, now pay us 5%, pay us 10%, and then we'll give it to you. Again, this doesn't make sense. Why would they not just take the 5% from the recovered funds and send you the rest? So again, if anyone's ever asking for you to pay them before they give you the money back, it's a scam. So if you've caught yourself in this situation, if this sounds like the situation that you are in, you need to do a few things. So one, very, very important, you don't need to go through this alone. Contact trusted friends and family, get in touch, tell them what's going on, because going through this alone is probably one of the hardest things anyone could do. So get in touch with friends and family that you trust, let them know what's going on, and help them understand what happened, and then they can be a third party who can help rationalize through the situation. The second thing is report this to your local authorities like the police, as well as even the FBI. The more people that report this to the FBI, it gives the FBI more ammunition and context to go after these scammers. This is a priority for the FBI, and they are targeting scams like this. So the more information and the more victims that come forward to the FBI, the more likelihood there is to bring justice to those scammers that are ruining people's lives. Now, the last thing is there is a silver lining to this. So under the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act, most personal casualty and theft losses were actually disallowed, meaning you would not be able to take a deduction. But in scams like this, there is actually a specific section that allows you to take the deduction, and that's called IRC 165C2. So essentially what this means is if you entered into a transaction for profit or for the assumption of profit, and then that transaction resulted in a theft loss, like what we see here, then it is actually deductible. It's exempt from that disallowance of theft loss deductions. So if you're working with a tax preparer, make sure to let them know about what's going on. Make sure to tell them about IRC 165C2. because this is actually a deduction you will be able to take. Now, ultimately, this will be reported on Form 4684, and then it will go to Schedule A as an itemized deduction, and it is not subject to the 10% AGI floor or the 2% AGI floor. So it's very important that you do this, because if you just lost, $20,000, $30,000, $100,000, $1 million, you definitely want to be taking the tax deduction so that you can recoup some of that money through a tax benefit. So if you're not doing this, get in touch with a tax advisor or a CPA or my firm if you want, and we'd be happy to help you, because ultimately you should be able to get some of this back through a tax break. So if you believe you might be a victim of this pig butchering scam or a similar scam, I'm going to give you a few steps that you need to take in order to make sure that you are taking the best path forward. So step number one, whatever you do, do not send any more money to the scammers. They are going to promise all sorts of things in order to get you to send money. They're going to say, hey, just send it right now, we'll release the funds, blah, blah, blah. They are not going to release your funds. Do not send a single cent over to the scammers, and cut communication, block them. Block all numbers and cut communication. There's nothing you can say or do that will result in them sending you money, because their full-time professional job is to scam you. So they're not going to ever release that money back to you. Step number two is contact trusted friends and family. Again, you don't need to go through this alone. This is likely one of the toughest situations you might have found yourself in your life. You do not need to go through it alone. Get in touch with local friends and family, potentially even therapists, anyone that is going through a significant scam like this and is potentially in financial ruin as a result, needs to have people around them, a good support network to help them get through it and think rationally about what's going on. So good friends and family and potentially therapists are always, a good resource to bounce ideas off of and keep yourself sane in this tough situation. Step number three is contact and report the scam to your local authorities like the police, and then also the FBI, as mentioned earlier. It's very important that all of these scams are being reported to the FBI and the highest authorities so that we can bring more awareness to this to hopefully help crack down on this type of scam and prevent others from falling victim. And then step number four, if you believe that the scam the scam loss you had, the theft loss, was a result of a transaction you entered into for profit, as I mentioned, you were under the assumption of profit, then talk to a tax advisor about IRC 165C2 and let them know about the whole situation and ask if it is deductible. Again, your CPA or your tax advisor should be able to look up IRC 165C2 and let you know whether your specific situation would qualify as a tax deduction. If you don't have a CPA or a tax advisor, you can always book a free consultation with me and my team at Count on Sheep. We've seen this tons of times. We've helped tons of people through this exact situation. If we determine that it is a deductible theft loss and you want us to prepare the tax forms for you, we're happy to do so. Like I said, we've done it tons of times. But really importantly, you don't want to just leave this on the table and not do anything about it. It is potentially a tax break that you could get, and that would be a way to recover some of those funds back through a tax benefit. So once you've done those things, that's pretty much all that you can do in your control. Ultimately, it has to be a learning lesson. It's a really tough situation for many people, but at the end of the day, the only thing that you can really do here is to take that tax deduction, and other than that, the money is going to be gone. I'm very sorry, and my heart goes out to you if you are stuck in this situation. It is a tough situation. We've seen it too many times to count, and each time my heart goes out to you. So hopefully, hopefully we can find a path forward, and hopefully the FBI can crack down on this type of scam. But for right now, follow those steps, and that's the best path forward. Again, my name is Justin. I'm the head CPA at Count on Sheep. If you'd like help with this or just crypto taxes in general, you can always book a call with my firm and we'd be happy to chat with you. Have a good one.